In Activity 10, Hurricanes, students learn how hurricanes form and monitor the progress of a historic hurricane as it heads toward land. Students first compare hurricanes and tornadoes, discuss how scientists monitor hurricanes, then track the path of Hurricane Andrew on a chart, and finally discuss ways to stay safe during a hurricane. You will need the following materials from the kit: Activity Sheet 10, Beaufort wind scales from Activity 5, rulers, hurricane safety tips, hurricane tracking chart transparency, and an erasable marker. You will also need to provide pencils, globe, overhead projector, and pictures of hurricanes. To prepare for Session 1, collect pictures and news accounts of hurricanes. You will also need a globe, a projector, the hurricane tracking chart transparency, an erasable marker, and a ruler. Make a copy of Activity Sheet 10 and the hurricane tracking chart for each student. Students will also need their Beaufort wind scale sheet from Activity 5, a ruler, and a pencil. To begin Session 1, distribute pictures of hurricanes and the damage they can cause, and give students time to examine them. Ask students, what kind of storm could have caused this much damage? Students may answer that a tornado caused the damage, since there appears to have been a lot of wind associated with the storm. Point out any flooding and heavy surf, and explain that the storm in these photos occurred somewhere along the coast. Then ask, does anyone know what a hurricane is? Students who live near the coast, especially in the south, will probably be familiar with the term hurricane. Inform the class that a hurricane is a large whirling storm that brings high winds and lots of rain. Then, discuss experiences students may have had with hurricanes. Next, mention some of the characteristics of a tornado, such as their size, how fast they spin, and where they form, and compare a tornado to a hurricane. Help students understand that a hurricane can be several hundred miles in diameter, much larger than a tornado, and they form over the ocean, not over land. Ask students, what rating does a hurricane get on the Beaufort scale? Students should respond that a hurricane gets a 12. Explain that hurricane winds can range from 74 to over 150 miles per hour, which is not quite as strong as a tornado, but strong enough to tear roofs off homes and uproot trees. Inform students that hurricanes form over warm oceans, usually during the summer months. Then identify the 3 ingredients needed for a hurricane to form: wind, heat, and moisture. Next, draw a hurricane and label the wall and eye. Define the eye as the area of calm weather in the center of the hurricane and point out that the wall surrounds the eye. Ask students, what do you think the weather is like in the eye of a hurricane? Some students may know that it is very calm in the eye of a hurricane. While the winds in the wall might howl at speeds of over 150 miles per hour, accompanied by torrential rain, thunder, and lightning, in the eye of a storm, it may be sunny and the air very still. Then ask, do you think scientists can predict when and where a hurricane will occur? Help students understand that because hurricanes form slowly over the course of several days or weeks, weather forecasters are able to detect them in their early stages and keep track of any changes in size and strength. Inform students that the National Hurricane Center keeps track of storms around the world and provides information to local weather scientists so that they can warn people about approaching storms. Next, distribute Activity Sheet 10 and the hurricane tracking chart to each student and set up the projector with the hurricane tracking chart. Using the tracking chart, review with the class the landforms and bodies of water and use the classroom globe to identify the area of Earth shown on the chart. Inform students that every day, scientists record the location of hurricanes by making a dot on the chart. Then show students how to use a ruler to draw straight lines connecting the dots. Ask students, what do these lines represent? Help students recognize that the lines represent the path of the hurricane from one day to the next. Then, let students know that in this activity, they're going to track the progress of a storm that occurred in August of 1992, known as Hurricane Andrew, as the storm moves across the Atlantic Ocean. To conclude Session 1, provide students with an update of the storm's location and strength each day. They will record this information on Activity Sheet 10 and then plot the data points on the hurricane tracking chart. You can issue 1 update per day for 10 days or do several at a time. To prepare for Session 2, students will need their completed Activity Sheet 10 and hurricane tracking chart from Session 1. You will need a projector, the hurricane tracking chart transparency, and an erasable marker. Make sure to begin Session 2 after completing Update 10. To begin Session 2, review the path of Hurricane Andrew with students and discuss as a class how long the storm lasted and the kinds of damage it caused. Then, distribute the pictures of hurricane damage again and have students look for pictures of people. Ask students, what are the people in the pictures doing? Students may note that the people look sad and that most are busy cleaning up after the storm. Encourage students to look for images of people helping other people and explain that when a natural disaster strikes, people help each other cope with their sadness and loss, and help one another clean up and rebuild their neighborhoods. To conclude Session 2, return the transparency, marker, and rulers to the kit. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.